So I'm live supposedly again. We'll see if anyone comes back. If it doesn't work now, we're just going to have to bag the night. I don't understand what's been happening here. Thanks to our YouTube people screwing everything up. But let's try. I'll wait and see if anybody comes into the room. Those of you who haven't been with me, YouTube is messing me up on the show, and I'm trying an alternate system. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I don't understand. YouTube's going crazy on me. So we'll see if anybody shows up. Anyone out there? All right, Robbie G, you can see me. Can you hear me? Oh, I feel seen. But anyway, right? You guys can hear me okay too? I don't understand what's up with this stuff. Oh, Steve, you're not the first one tonight. Oh, okay. All right, let's just try this again and hope that for the best. And if it bags on me now, then screw it. Okay, let's go to Commanders talk. Okay, so they sacked Cade York like everybody wanted. I mean, he really hurt them in that game. I know it looks like a lopsided loss, but you take away this, if you make those 2 field goals when they did and all, they still had a puncher's chance. You never know how the game will go. But he barely made the extra point, and then he screwed up the kickoff. Good Lord, Antoinette, you're here. Antoinette, how are you feeling? Antoinette, for all of you who fell and broke her arm, and she's a regular here, so I hope you're doing better on things. So they got rid of Cade York, and Austin Siebert was signed, 27 years old, has spent parts of 5 years in the league, was a Cleveland draft choice in 2019. This is his only season he really was a regular. So then 2020, he spent some time with Cleveland and Cincinnati. 2021 and 22, he spent 9 combined games with Detroit. And then 23, he spent 1 game with the Jets, and then he was cut by the Jets now. 80% kicker on field goals, 90% on extra points. He missed 5 extra points his 1 year as a main guy. Woo! So that's really the only news that came out today. Quinn didn't have a whole lot to really say about anything. So it would have, it wasn't as bad as it looked at times, but on the other hand, the defense gave up points 8 of 9 times. You can't win games doing that. I knew the defense would have trouble here. I really figured Tampa Bay would win because it's a much better team, to be honest. Let's just be honest. And it's their home game. And the heat, I knew would be more of a factor because I've seen it happen before. So, Matthew asked my favorite Maryland player ever. Vernon Davis. I covered him personally for a couple years there. Love Vernon. Great guy. But Randy White, as a kid growing up, I loved watching Randy White. He was awesome. The Giants game, oh, good. Antoinette feeling better. I'm glad to hear that. That's a bad break for you, literally. Let's see. Got to beat the Giants. Yes, I wrote for my column for 106.7 The Fan, which is on Odyssey, AUDACY.com. It's a must win. I know people say, week 2. If they don't win this game, I'm telling you, whoever loses this game between the Giants and Washington is going to go 2-15 this year. And I really don't feel like going through that again. Been there, done that. Don't want to do it anymore. It's just my life is not tied up in wins and losses, but man, it's such a bummer. So I don't want to see that. So it is a must. And Danny, Dan Jones is like Danny Dimes here in D.C. He can't lose. Giants have won the last 3 in the series. I was looking it up. This is an old series, one of the older in the league. Used to be a much bigger rivalry, but there's only been 2 decades that the Redskins won the series during that decade. And that was the 70s and 80s. And barely the 80s, they were 11-10 over there. Since then, the other decades, they didn't get anything. So, it's just strange how they do this. Sorry, I'm trying to deal with this computer mess too. Okay, so one of my friends out there watching says he can watch but can't comment. That's not a bad thing, Bob. Anyway, my cousin Mike, I hope you're out there now. You can see me. So that's the problem with on there. Um, okay, so all right, I don't have as much space to look at comments coming through because I'm using my cell phone. So sorry about that if I miss you. Jar 678, if they finished some sacks would have been different. Yeah, how many times were in the backfield and got nothing? They got one sack. How many times Baker Mayfield's not exactly known for his, running ability. He got out of so many tight jams and that killed them too. They got killed 6 ways to Sunday on so many things they did wrong. Cincinnati, Bryce asking how the month's going to go. Cincinnati, I think that's a loss, although they looked stupid against New England. Arizona, could be. So I thought in the beginning they could lose this game and still be 3-3 after 6 games. But they got to get this defense together. I wasn't really happy with Kingsbury's play calling on a lot of that. JD can't be running 16 times in a game. I know he said afterwards, hey, man, this is how I play my game. This is what I do, blah, blah, blah. I got one piece of news for you now. You're in the NFL, and they're paying you a ton of money, and you got to follow the system. And the NFL system is not running 16 times a game. You won't make it. There are quarterbacks that don't run 16 times in a year. All right, it's too dangerous. It's too dangerous. We talk about not risking people in the preseason, and yet he runs twice on the goal line in a blowout loss for a touchdown. No, man, you can't be doing that. If this team loses JD, it's going to set it back several years again. They just have to tell him, listen, you can run. If you can't find anything, there's a lane, go for it. Find the sideline. Learn how to slide. But you can't be doing this kind of stuff. You won't last. So Bryce, too many third downs becoming first downs. Yeah, I mean, the one series, my thing is here, the same player converted 3 third downs in the same series for the Bucs. Who am I thinking of? Receiver. Godwin. That's what I'm thinking of. I don't know if I've ever seen that in one drive where the same guy converts 3 third downs. They had a 3rd and 17, and they converted. That was a backbreaker. I can tell you one thing I can really notice about this team this year. They do not have the speed like a lot of other teams. I mean, did you see that opening day Kansas City? Who was the player? We all know the play. He ran through a crowded field and blew away everybody. Starts with a W. Can't remember his name. And I mean, I went, my God, look at that. How fast he went through everybody. That's Darrell Green speed, Forbes, as several of you are mentioning now, yeah, Forbes looked awful. And he had a better summer than I thought. Here's one big problem I had. They should have played starters more in the preseason. I know everybody's like, oh, no, they'll get hurt. Well, would you rather have yesterday where they looked so unprepared? They really looked disoriented out there. And it's been 3 weeks because they didn't play the last preseason game, 3 weeks off. And they're not in sync at all. Now, you got almost a 60% roster turnover. It's going to take some time. But that's one reason why you play them in the preseason, is so that they can get a little bit of this down. Thanks, Wine Fox. Worthy was like a blur. They don't have players like that with speed. And then they gassed out in the second half. I could see him standing up, breathing. It just wasn't working for him. So that was a problem there, too. I mean, there's problems everywhere. The offensive line wasn't their worst problem for once. Maybe that's because JD moved so much, too. That probably helped a little. Defensive line couldn't get home. The secondary was naked and afraid. I mean, wow. This was just, a total collapse. And I laughed. I said, my God, it's like I was asleep for 8 months and I woke up and it looked like the end of last season. I mean, you changed everybody. You changed everybody, and yet you had the same game that they had at the end of last season, getting overrun and embarrassed. That's just ridiculous. It was a clown show. Really an embarrassing effort. Is it one game? Sure. But tell you what, that's why they're lucky they got the Giants here. Can you get right? If you look that bad against the Giants, it ain't going to be, it's going to be a long season. I'll say that. And I don't say that with any malice toward Dan Quinn and his staff. I like the guys. I wish them the best. I'd rather watch them win than lose, because losing people are not very happy people to deal with. So I would like to think maybe they could right the ship here, and we'll know soon. If they can't win some games, like, if they can't beat New York at home, if they can't go out, say, to Arizona and win, then it's going to be another bad year. And I know a lot of people thought that. Boy, Vegas was talking about 5 wins, and I thought, nah, they're better than that. I don't know. On paper, maybe, but on the grass field, no. Surprised Ertz didn't do better. Really didn't get their receivers involved very much. That was a real problem, too. Bryce, if they lose to the Giants, at what point does the stadium become a visitor fan stadium? Starting now. When is it not? The Giants usually bring a decent crowd, but they look so bad Sunday. I don't know if their fans will come. But there's so many New Yorkers that live in the D.C. area that they always bring a big crowd, like that. So does Philly and New York. I mean, they haven't had the home edge in those games in years. So that's unfortunate, but you got to win games, and you got to have people locally that buy the tickets. I mean, where are you? If you're local, and I mean, I get it, not wanting to pay the money for games, but I mean, especially you can buy them on the resale market, it's so much cheaper. Severio, I agree with you. Very frustrating to see that this team wasn't ready. That's why I said they should have played more preseason. And if somebody gets hurt, whatever, but there's such a mind cluster of this among NFL coaches for like the last decade of don't risk anything. Let's just go into the season and look like fools instead. That's the better option, huh? Okay. Well, good luck with that. Let's see. Greg, I don't think it's that, but the Tampa weather, I don't know if you guys have ever been in Tampa. I have in the summertime. It rains 5 o'clock every day. It didn't rain yesterday. That was surprising on there. But it's honestly like, I bet field conditions were probably at 110 at least. And it's like near 100% humidity. And it's just like you think you're going to have heat stroke or something. It's so bad. Now you got to go play football. And yes, it's like that for Tampa too, but it's brutal. Brutal. Just Moody, thank you for chipping in. I haven't even begged for anything yet because this has been such a disjointed start that I know a lot of people say, hell with it. Everybody's upset anyway. I said maybe they should have made them the Red Wolves so everybody could just howl because everybody's howling anyway. So on that. So anyway, if you want to hit the $, I feel like today I'm going to have to do the show for free. So let's do it as a charity show. Tell you what, I was going to show it anyway. Okay, so no kid hungry. All right. Hit anything, donate the money to hit the $1 thing today. It looks like a $sign under the screen. No kid hungry. I'll give every $1 that's sent here tonight to the no kid hungry people. They basically make sure there's a lot of kids that don't have anything to eat. There's a lot of kids that the only thing they get to eat is in school, and at least school's back in session now. But their parents don't feed them, and I'm thinking, how do you not feed your children? I mean, come on. How do you not feed your children? How in the world do you get by on this? But that's what this thing does. No Kid Hungry. I've really researched them. I've donated money before. Some of these charities where the CEO makes 80% of the money. So if you guys want to chip in, we will put the money in their pocket tomorrow. And screw anything for me tonight, but that's okay. I'd rather these kids eat than anything else. So I do it a few times a year. We do charity things. So if you got any money and you want to throw it, every $1 goes to No Kid Hungry Fund tomorrow. And they can stretch the money so much more than anybody else. So try and do that. Try and do the thumbs up button too. If you can't even give kids money, what's the matter? You don't like children? I mean, that kind of thing. It's for the children. Any money, like I said, will go there. On that, my cell phone gets so many pop-up things on stuff. It's distracting. Sorry. Tonight's show is just brought to you by Stupid Stuff. How about that? Why is it so hard for him to slide? Sorry, I missed who it was. It said that. It was Deshaun. Is that what it is? He's never done it. He's never had to slide before, and that's why he's not good at it. There was some bad sliding yesterday. So, by the way, Marcus Mariota went to the injured list. He's got a torn pec, and a pec. I don't know if he'll be back this year. Pec injuries are bad ones, especially if it's your throwing, but they are painful as all. So when you're big muscular guys, but pec injuries. Seriously, I've seen people lose a season of pec injuries. So you're not that you want to see Marcus Mariota playing for this team because that means Daniels is hurt. But I figure that Driscoll is your number 2 now, and they signed Hartman off of the practice squad. So, a guy like Sam Hartman, here he is, opening day, and he's got a uniform, getting a paycheck. So it's funny how it all comes out of nowhere sometimes. I'll say that. And I'm still not. Nobody's kicking in money for the kids, huh? Okay, well, I'll just tell them they have to be hungry because no one cares. Yeah, we do a toy drive later in the year. We do Thanksgiving. So if you want, donate money to the kids. If you don't, well, we'll keep on going. And as long as we stop for a second. Oh, I don't know. I'm not even going to bother. Not even bothering tonight. Next week's show, I'll try and do it. And then I'm going to Vegas on Tuesday next week for a few days, but I will be back before the game on Monday night against Cincinnati. So the Monday night of Cincinnati game, chat goes to the next day. And maybe YouTube's got its act together or what's going on here. Doesn't look like I'm getting a lot of questions. Oh, here it goes. Okay. Yeah, Alexander, you're right. See, I'm going to be in Vegas, so I can go talk to the book makers and ask them. I used to know quite a few of them, but the world's changed a lot, and I'm getting older, not knowing everybody anymore. Shift the culture. How do we get a defensive coordinator as a head coach? Yeah, I know. Well, we asked the same thing about Ron Rivera for 4 years and Del Rio, and got me how this is working. Nothing else, hit the thumbs up button. A lot of you are here, and you haven't done it. The show also rotates through, so about everybody stays about 15 minutes. So sometimes we answer questions over and over. That's why. Alexander, yes, we did a charity stream tonight. So no kids hungry. Is that what it's called? Yeah, no kids hungry. I'll put all the money in their pocket. I don't take any of it. Just to help kids out and feed kids. I mean, what better thing can you do with your buck? So that's what we like to do. And if any of you missed the pizza tour last weekend, I did the Old Town Alexandria. I'll be doing Lincoln Assassination September 28th. Yeah, September 28th. You can go to my website, monumentalthoughts.com. Talks about Lincoln Assassination and Embassy Row, and then we talk pizza after the tour, short tour. So if you go to the website, you can see how to sign up for the tour on there. We had a good time. We had some people from out of town come in this past weekend and family, and it wasn't a big crowd, but we had fun. Great pizza at Bugsy's in Old Town Alexandria. Pizza was outstanding. So that was really good. Shift the culture. Outside of the kicker, what's the biggest concern? Hadn't thought about that yet. I would say corner probably, but there's nothing you're going to be able to do about that now. The only thing you could do is maybe get the pressure home a little more and don't leave those guys. But I will say Baker Mayfield made some really good throws too. There was a couple times that Washington had that guy covered, and Baker just dropped a dime in there, and that's just how it goes. Carnes, how do I feel about the D coordinator not being on the sideline? I don't have a problem with that. Most coordinators are up in the box. The only reason Kingsbury is on the sideline is because he wanted to really be direct with Daniels right there, face to face. He felt like it would be more productive to do it that way. But most coordinators are all talking on headsets to people anyway. So that's not a problem. Shift the culture. To be honest, I thought our Divas offensive line looked the best it's looked in the last 15 years. I must be talking about the D-line one. Yeah, but, that's the job. That's how you get paid, is sacks. Do you think we need more Mike Davis and Emmanuel Forbes? Asked Todd. Well, they're trying to give Forbes enough rope, and we'll see what happens. But, man, that wasn't it. So if he doesn't get better soon, yes, I would expect Mike Davis to be playing over him. Yeah, they're trying to give last year's first round pick one chance, but you ain't going to get a long chance. Alexander, there's a great pizza place named Side Door in Navy Yard. Okay, haven't seen that one. I was at Andy's Pizza, which is right by the main gate of Nats Park. That was really good. I did a recent thing where I did some of my favorite pizza places around town. My favorite one kind of surprised me because my favorite one closed, but the new one, it's called Curry and Pies. It's in Georgetown, and they do Indian dishes. It's a little place right by the Key Bridge, 7 tables. They do Indian dishes, but they will make them as a pizza also, and it was actually very good. I didn't know what to expect. I was holding on. You can get the spice level any way you want. I got it the sissy level. I have a friend of mine got something hot. No, that was hot. The mild was like I'd say 3 times Old Bay, but it was good. Curry and Pies. That's my new top spot in DC. Antoinette. Now I don't think they're benching Forbes right away, but today's Monday, so as Dan Quinn likes to say, Monday is to tell the truth Monday, where they basically go through all the film with everybody and say, here's where you screwed up. Tomorrow they're off. That's when coaches will talk about things like benching because they're looking at the film on Monday more. And Tuesday is game planning day. And then Wednesday they start practice again. So we would know Wednesday better about that. Gregory, what kind of crowd do you think the stadium gets? 50-50 Giants Commanders? No, I don't think so. It'll be more Giants, I think. But maybe it's 60-40 Giants. I expect more Giants, though. But they stink so bad, that's why somebody sent me a contract 2 hours ago and now wants me to sign it and send it back. I don't think so, not yet. Never let anybody bully into signing contracts. Screw that. If they want my money or time, they can wait. Never let anybody pressure you into signing a contract. Oh, Bob, you hit the sound. Had it right, huh? Okay. Well, good for you, Bob. Kids in 3rd grade will help you if you have any words you need shared. But anyway, go ahead if you have a question. Bob and I are old friends. I can bust his chops. Some of you haven't hit that thumbs up button yet. Just Moody, thank you. You hate kids, but you don't want them going hungry. There you go. Because hungry kids are mean little people. Well, so are hungry adults. You're hungry. You want to go eat something. So that's why the money's going to them today. Nobody else cares, Steve. So what can I tell you? It's one of those days. So we're doing the show every Monday, except, of course, the Cincinnati game. We'll do it Tuesday. But I tell people, it's a free show. I don't do advertisements because I don't want to junk up the show with such stuff, but it helps to be supported. And this is the new world of journalism. And if people can't support you on there, after a while, you want to say, hey, I've given you everything. You've given nothing back. So we move on. So I'll just say that about it. Hate to do that. I hate being a whore and talking about these things, but man, it's just like nobody wants to pay for content anymore. So next season, I don't know. This could be my last season. I have not made the final decision, but it ain't looking good after yesterday. I'll tell you that. I'm getting older and things are happening around me, and we'll see. I'll announce in December if I'm staying or going. So if you enjoy these wonderful talks, well, I check on your mental stability, but otherwise, we'll do it. All right, let's see. One last thing. I've got some new mics. I wasn't planning on using this phone today. Okay. Well, if you're hearing okay, I'm okay. All right. And Todd, thank you. There you go. See, you'd be amazed how much they stretch the meals. For feeding, $5 can feed a bunch of meals in these programs. Much more than if you and I spent $5 on food at the grocery store. They know how to get special deals and all this stuff. And it makes a difference. How would we let our fellow Americans go hungry? Children going hungry. When we got a few bucks in our pocket to throw in there, I'm taking nothing out. The money will all go there. All right, I'll send it in tomorrow morning. And we'll see what our total is. And if you're watching on replay, you can still contribute to this too. So I feel like Jerry Lewis in the telethon. But saw a story about Labor Day this year, and I thought, yeah, I really miss Jerry. That was a great show growing up every year. So we're trying to, just help other people out and forget the misery. For every dollar you put in there, maybe there'll be a Redskin Commanders win out of it all. If not, I'll tell Josh Harris how cheap fans are and he can't sell them anything. Anyway, Sunday's game against the New York Giants. I've agreed to come down to the Hall of Fame store on the concourse level inside around noon to say hi, because I've had several people want to. Why you want to meet me, I don't know, but, people do. So I'll be there at noon. If you're going to the game, you want to go over to the Hall of Fame store, I'll be in the mezz for however long people want to do it for a few minutes. So if you have a book or something you want signed, bring it. Alexander, Washington opened up 2.5-point favorite. Yeah, I saw that. Yes, because they're at home. I mean, they're both awful teams. They're about even on everything. I guess I would say Washington 2.5. Given their kicker problems, I don't know. 3 points could loom large. Carnus, thank you so much helping the kids out. Like I said, you can see it on the internet too. If you want to donate directly, there you go. They're on the internet too, and we had people do that last time, and that's fine. Even better. Leave me out of it. Go donate money directly to them, and you get a tax write-off somehow that way. So your $5 tax write-off, well, whatever. But that's between you and the government. Mr. Cool, that's right. Yeah, they kicked him to the curb. Cade York was allowed to fly home. And then, remember the time they left Dan Turk in Tampa? I was around for that one. That was a mess. And it wasn't that they wouldn't let Dan on the bus. That's of the plane. That's always the myth. But Dan had some problems, and he just couldn't get on the plane. He used to live in Tampa, so he knew where to go. And he flew back in the morning. But that wasn't Dan Snider kicked him off the plane. That's a total myth about that story. I was there. I know what happened. And unfortunately, Dan was diagnosed with cancer just weeks later and would die right around Christmas that year. He was a good guy, a little crazy, but the deep snapper, Dan Turk. But that happened down in Tampa. Let's see, Michael. I wish we signed Mason Crosby. Well, yeah, he went to high school with his brother. Okay, well, there you go. And thanks for watching from Texas. Okay, so Todd asked, do I like Austin Siebert? Well, at this point, sure, why not? I mean, if I count right, there's been Austin Siebert will be the 6th kicker on this roster since January. Of course, you had Joey Sly. Then they signed a guy they thought was going to be good out of Carolina, and then he got accused of sexual misconduct, and this team had to get rid of him quick because this team can't afford that. Yeah, then they had 2 guys in camp that neither of them made it, and then they took Cade at the last minute for the season. Now he's gone. Holy crap, that's 5 guys that have been in there. So the 6th guy's showing up, and who knows what he does. I mean, God, it could be one of those crazy years for kickers. I knew Norv Turner once went through 5 in the last year, 99. They had 5, and Eddie Murray couldn't make that last field goal to beat the Giants and got Norv fired that night. And, in the series, I talk about the NFC, of course, East, the Cowboys thing is what it is. But the Eagles games are always the weirdest games of the year, the unexpected winners or the weirdest plays. It's strange, always for Philly. The Giants games are the most aggravating because I don't know how many times I've seen Washington outplay the Giants and lose the game. Sometimes on stupid stuff, but whatever. But, it's always been some weird aggravation stuff. And then you got to listen to all the New Yorkers down here. 5% of the D.C. residents are from New York City. A lot of people moved down here after 9/11. So it's just crazy. Speaking of which, did you see the story today? The Lee Boyd Malvo, the kid that was like 18 during the sniper shootings. They moved him out of Supermax prison. It's been 22 years since a sniper in D.C. And he moved him out of the Red Onion Supermax prison to a lesser one. And I have heard stories about Red Onion. That's a tough place. So I just thought it was funny that it came out of nowhere. Well, 9/11's in 2 days. That's probably why it came. Okay. So Bob was around too when That 99 game happened. And there's no, it was a long field goal for Brett Conway to kick. There's no saying that he would have made it. But, Turk just blew the snap. And I walked with him to the bus area afterwards, and he was just, frantic. Just kept mumbling. He looked at his hands. He said, "I just can't believe it. I can't believe it." He was nuts because he knew what just happened. And his contract was up. Dan Snider did not fire him. Also, Matt Turk's contract was up, and the punter and Dan's brother. So Dan didn't really fire him either. There's a lot of myths around that. Dan liked to act like he was a tough guy. But that's all BS. I've had Just Moody. I've had more people ask me today about Mosley and Lohmiller. Mose is still working. He helped really move Five Guys into what they are today. As he really was the guy behind moving that franchise forward. Lohmiller was teaching somewhere. Been a year or so since I've heard about him. Mose is now, I don't know, mid-70s, maybe near 80. And Chip, Chip's probably 60-something on there. So, Mike Sellers was down at the Tampa Bay game, the caveman, as they called him, doing much better. He had to have transplant and all. They had to raise like $1 million for medical fees for him, but he seems to be doing okay. So you always ask, what happened to all the money they had? Well, that's a whole different show. I mean, so many players get hit on by family members to pay for stuff. I think Clinton Portis told me one time he was paying for 17 cell phones, stuff like that. I mean, everybody in the family says, "Hey, you're rich, you can pay." Jackpot train, Five Guys cheeseburger and fries, $18. I haven't eaten there in a while, but McDonald's is even. I don't go to these places much anymore. But I think McDonald's is like 15 or something. I only eat at these places now when I really am out and about, and that's just what it is. What was my game plan to beat the Giants? Lou's here from California. I would tell them that the game time is 4 o'clock, and then when they were late to show, they would forfeit. Now, you got to go after Daniel Jones. This D line's got to get home, and if they can disrupt Daniel Jones, they can win this game. I think the offense with JD like he is going to be fine. I think JD gives you a puncher's chance to win any game. That's what's great about what he's doing. Sam Howell did some of that too, but JD, with his legs and all these things, he can carry a team at times. So the offense needs some work. They need to figure out some things, but that's not my problem. The defense is the one that you're worried about, just, giving a game away early. And boy, yesterday just looked like last season and many seasons. How do you replace everybody, and yet you have the same BS going on? I don't understand that at all. Hopefully, some of you will be at the Great Northwest Stadium. I mentioned that the other day, and somebody wrote, "Where is that?" It's FedEx Field, in case you didn't hear it. William, run the ball. Absolutely. If you can hold the clock, you can win the game. I think I was looking at one point, Tampa Bay had time of possession was like 10 minutes more than Washington. I didn't see the final one to look at it, but it was something like that. They just kept the ball, kept moving the chains. It didn't do a lot of big plays, but they just kept going down the field. And that's why the defense melted too. They've been on the field so much. Matter of fact, we got to watch the Jets San Francisco game. Is it on yet? I think it just came on. I want to see a little bit of that. My wife, I watched the Thursday night game for a little bit. My wife said, how long are you going to watch this? I said, I don't know, a little while. And she goes, how long? I said, I don't know, a couple hours. She goes, a couple hours? I said, yeah, like a Hallmark movie. And I was thinking, Hallmark movies are just like the NFL. It just muddles along, and in the last 2 minutes, everything happens. How many times I sit there and tell my wife, I don't know about these two kids in this movie. It's not looking good with 5 minutes to go. They can't, and then boom, they're all together and everybody loves each other. Well, the NFL is kind of like that. You kind of muddle along a lot of games, and then boom, last couple of minutes, all hell breaks loose. So I watched the game Thursday, and then Friday night she goes, "You're not going to watch a football game, are you?" And I said, oh, no, no, I'm not going to watch a game. We can watch something you want, because I didn't have Peacock. And she didn't know that the game was just on Peacock. So I'm giving up nothing. And I got away with being generous there. I pulled a fast one. That's 42 years of marriage. That's how it works. All right. Jets are up 7-3 already, huh? Okay. Aaron Rodgers. I get so tired of Aaron Rodgers' drama at this point. Great quarterback, going to the Hall of Fame. Leave me alone. Move on. I laughed when he said if they don't do well, he'll be gone. Yeah, because they're paying you a lot of money. And last year was just unfortunate. He got hurt right away. So we're almost, well, we got 10 minutes to go. Okay. So what else you want to talk about? I know this is so disjointed. Usually we have a lot more people on. But whenever the start gets screwed up, people move on to something else. Usually, recent weeks, 600 people. This is like 29 right now. But like I said, people come in for a little while and then they move on to other things. So if you are watching, you missed the earlier part of the show. Well, that was all screwed up with computers, but scary to think what that's about. But you can see any parts you missed. It'll be on YouTube when the whole show finishes. Flinter, where am I located? In the great Southern Maryland area. So, south of D.C. Why, you want to come by? No, don't do that. My home is the castle here. After Monday, I get to take a break and not think about football for, 12 hours. I goof off. This is the end. That's why I tell you, I do this show because Sundays are usually long football days. Wasn't too bad yesterday. And then Monday is just all football right up to now. So I still do the show because I know you guys want to talk about stuff, which would be why I always say, so donate money to the cause, hit that $ on there, or go ahead and donate directly to No Kids Hungry and help people out instead of just sucking off free content and not caring. Okay. Oh, you thought I was a Tampa fan? No, why? Because I'm independent and actually don't just kiss a company line. I mean, I live in Washington area, but I'm not going to pick Commanders to go 17-0. Those kind of people, they have no opinion when they do that. Every week when you take Skins Tangibles, how are you supposed to take that guy seriously if he's picking, Skins Tangibles to win every week and they don't, and they finish 4 wins or something? You look like a fool. So no, I don't play that game. And if this is my last season after, nearly 50 years, I can say what I want on the way out of town. Jackpot Train, what tour do you recommend for locals that we might not know about? Well, I tell you what, you can go watch the money being printed at the Bureau of Engraving and Printing. It's over on 14th, 15th Street, right next to the Holocaust Museum. That's a free tour by the government. Lots of free tours by government. You can go to FBI building if you sign up for that, or the Pentagon. But watching the money come off the presses at the Bureau of Engraving and Printing is pretty cool. I give it that. I've not been to the new Spy Museum. I didn't like the old one, but I hear the new one's much better. So people like that a lot. Oh, tours. I mean, I have my own tours. You can go to monumentalthoughts.com and see what I have. But you can do a White House tour. It sometimes takes months ahead. You have to call your House of Representatives to be able to go in. It doesn't matter who's president. It's still the White House. So no matter who wins. But you can still go in, and it's like a 45-minute tour walking through the White House. That's kind of a cool one. It's the White House on there. So there's a bunch of those. Gregory, the defensive coordinator, looked clueless. Well, I didn't think it was great, but let's just put it this way. Your pass rush got all the way to the quarterback and couldn't grab him. And then everything gets like a busted play. And then, so whose fault's that? It's players, mostly. Do you think the running game could be decent this year, Llewellyn? Yeah, but, I was disappointed in so few carries to Brian Robinson. He caught more balls, than I would expect. But they, once again, didn't really see that kind of, commitment to the run. Antoinette, where's the new Spy Museum? It is way above town. You can see the sign. It's at LaFont Plaza up there, way up on the hill. Can't miss the sign. Bible Museum's a pretty cool one, too, if you like that. They have a great 5G type of display on things. Just me. Do you have a favorite frozen pizza brand? Um, well, I do eat frozen pizza here and there. Of course, I bake it first. Um, I like Tombstone a little. I like thin crust on these things, but I'm not a big one on frozen pizza too much. I might have one once a month or so. So I've got another couple I got a couple pizza shows coming up. I've been doing. Had a really good pizza at Bugsy's on the tour this past Saturday. I went to Costco. I haven't shown that one yet, but I bought I'd never bought pizza at Costco, and so I just I always got a hot dog and a soda for $1.50, and you can't pass that deal. But I thought, okay, turns out that the pizza is $2. It's like $2.20. But I'd say the plain looked much better. I got the sausage, and it was okay. It was okay, but I give it a B. It's a decent sized slice, and all that. Had good cheese to it, but it was chain pizza. But so I've had pizza at Costco. That's first time on that on there. So, and if you're hard of hearing, I was in Costco because I was getting hearing aids for the first time. I've been partially deaf since I was a child. Had an illness, took away a lot of my hearing. So finally got old and decided to go ahead and get hearing aids. And man, it's like living in the land of wonder. I can hear people talking all around me. I never could have before. So if you're one of those people, you can say, well, Rick did it. If he did it, I can do it. It's really not hard to adjust to them at all. Costco has really good deals on it too. I don't do commercials, but I'm just saying, just passing along something I found out. Because that's the problem you have with hearing aids. I know, talking to my older people here, and most of you are older, you're worried about spending $2-3 on a hearing aid and not working. I mean, that's my fear. But we did it. And I got a recommendation on them, and I think they worked great. So they have good people working there. Really cared, knew what they were talking about. So if you need one, go get one. Gregory's thinking 3-0 the next 3 games, maybe 2-1. You keep thinking that, Gregory. Well, I mean, they can win the Giants game, and I don't think they're going to win Cincinnati. I know Cincinnati looked like crap yesterday, but I wouldn't say that one. I'm a big Joe Burrow fan. He's one of my favorite quarterbacks to watch. I like the not that I'm a Bengals fan, but I do like the white helmet with the stripes. That's a cool helmet. I'll give it that. What were the Giants thinking yesterday? What was that uniform about? Or Pittsburgh. Some of these uniforms I saw were nuts. Any games looking forward to this season? Well, thank goodness we're not playing on Thanksgiving for once, so I can eat in peace. Or Christmas. Dodge those bullets. I don't care about New Year's Day. Let's see. Let me pull up the schedule real quick. I haven't even thought about it. A lot of players, I'm the same way as they are. They can tell you who they're playing this week and next week. And that's pretty much most of them. They told me, people say, hey, man, can you get me tickets this game? They go, when is that? I'm the same way. I just see what's in front of me. I used to love to go to Arizona. I don't travel anymore, but I loved Arizona games. Then we'd lay over in Vegas, and that would be some fun. Going to Baltimore, it's a regional thing. It's not so much a rivalry, but still it's kind of fun. The Ravens are a good organization. The schedule this year is not the greatest. They're at New Orleans. Whoo! I've been to New Orleans, and you can have a time in New Orleans, man. New Orleans basically says, come here, get drunk, party all you want. One rule, no fighting in the streets. That's it. That's the rule. But people get so, man, those drinks are stiff. That's where they filmed the Girls Gone Wild videos in the old days, and because people are just blottoed. I covered games there, and I'd have to leave around 6 a.m., go to the airport, and people were just walking into the hotel from partying all night. In New Orleans, it's not just Bourbon Street. New Orleans is a wonderful city to go visit. You're on the Mississippi. That game's December 15th, so it'll actually be, 60s, 70s degrees. It's not a bad one. That's probably the best road game this year. That would probably be, if I were traveling, that would be the game I'd want to go see. They have the Pittsburgh Steelers at home. Boy, Pittsburgh looked good yesterday. I picked that one. All right, Pittsburgh's looking tough. They always do, but Tomlin's a good coach. There'll be lots of Commanders fans at the stadium Sunday, Antoinette asks. I'll say, it's a home opener, so a lot of people got suckered into buying tickets, but amazing how many people buy tickets and don't come. 20,000 Commanders fans and maybe 30,000 Giants fans, something like that. And if that offends you, well, then go find another channel to watch. I'm just going to keep it real and tell you what goes on. Don't like it, don't watch. You're not paying for it. So it's not. I didn't go to that model like some other people have, and I don't do commercials to bog everybody down and harass you. All I do is beg money for kids to eat, and that seems to be too much to ask anybody. So, see, Steve, I'm looking forward to the Panthers game. Okay, well, yes, that would be a nice game. Hopefully they win that one. That's October 20th, 4 o'clock. Okay, home game, 4 o'clock. Thanks. I hate because I have to sit around all day and wait. I hate that. I hate night games. But they don't have any. Well, there's one more. Two more, I'm sorry. At Philadelphia Eagles, Thursday night, November 14th. So, when is Thanksgiving this year? I don't know. I just don't look at the calendar much. Thanksgiving is the 28th of November. Wow, it's late this year. So, okay. And that's during the regular week. They play Dallas right before Thanksgiving, and then they play Tennessee after. Be interesting to see what Tennessee's about this year. All right. So, what is it? 8:58. Okay. So, everybody's done with me. It's kind of weird. First impressions on Jaden Daniels, Bo. I think he's the one. I mean, I think this is their best quarterback. It can be their best quarterback. If we look at this 5 years from now, I would expect him to be their best quarterback since Joe Theismann, which is 1985. So I think that's how much. I mean, I really watched this guy a lot in camps since May. Smart guy, works hard, does all the right things, and has the tools to make it happen. This guy's going to be real. This is the guy you wanted, which keep him healthy. Mike P, thanks. Got a pizza show we have to go do one day. Todd, first impressions of Dan Quinn. I like Dan as a person, and as a coach, he's been very patient with everybody. So at some point, I want to see his hair up, and maybe it was in the locker room after the game Sunday. I don't know. He's pretty even-tempered like that. So he's good at explaining stuff. I'll give him that. So, Antoinette, are you leaving me? Okay, well, got to take your meds or something. I hope you're out of the hospital, Antoinette. For those of you who don't know, Antoinette's one of my main followers, and poor woman broke her arm and had to be in the hospital. So, Antoinette, I'm praying that you feel better. I hope you're out of the hospital because I hate being in hospitals. I've been in them too much. So, heart attack, open heart, surgeries, things like that. It's tough getting old. Not for sissies. Did I hear about, are you talking about Tyreek there? I was just looking at the video of that. I mean, the cops seemed a little aggressive there. Somebody told me I don't understand what goes on. Listen, I had a cop shoot my unarmed brother-in-law to death in his front yard, okay, 1987. It was a road thing. Cop pulled up behind him in his own car, gets out of the car, starts harassing my brother, and then shoots him to death. Okay, so I know something about that. Or when I was 18, I was in a car that got pulled over. They pulled me out of the car, and a cop put his nightstick to my face and said, "Tell me the truth about something, or I'm going to, he's going to hit me." So I know a little bit about this personally. It can get scary on the side of the road real quick. So I understand what goes on here. I thought, I saw him talk about, had his hands on the steering wheel, seemed to want to comply, and it seemed like the cops were overly aggressive, but I don't know. Cops have a tough job too, and they never know if somebody's going to shoot them. So, I wouldn't want the job. In fact, I had a friend who was a cop that was killed on duty. So there's nobody left. All my friends are gone. I have you people left. Great. So anyway, Tyree Hill. Okay. Yeah. So I don't play fantasy ball. My fantasies don't include football. I don't bet on games either because I think that's going to undermine the NFL greatly. 20 years from now or something, the NFL is just going to be it's just going to be something people bet on, and fandom's going to get killed by it. I've had players tell me about, fans yelling at them from the stands, yeah, you won, but F you, you cost me my bet. Man, that's just, and they're complaining about the fans, and I agree you shouldn't say things like that, but I also tell players, you took the money that the gambling's bringing you. This is what it cost you. Bunch of listening to this junk. Just ignore it. It used to be if you're on a visiting sideline on a game they won, when I used to be down on the field, they don't let writers do it anymore, but they used to. You got off that field really fast because things were going to be thrown down there. They weren't throwing it at me so much, but, they were throwing it in general. And you could get hurt. That's why players keep their helmets on going all the way in because people are nuts. They're drunk. They throw stuff. I've had bottles and all whiz by me. They throw batteries and coins, all this kind of stuff. It's ridiculous what goes on. I've often asked my friends in the crowd anymore, what percentage of people are drunk? Like literally drunk, not just a little tipsy, blottoed kind of craziness. The number typically comes back at a third. Okay, so if you got a game, let's just say 60,000 people, that's 20,000 people who are drunk off their butt. That's scary and sad. You pay all this money, you think you'd want to remember it, but then again, some of the Commanders games, maybe it's best you don't. So if you come to the game Sunday, you will see a different concessions thing that they use. It's like a mart, I guess if you call it, and you scan in, go in, take stuff out of coolers. It looks like a 7-Eleven's row of coolers, and then you scan on your way out. But people tell me that, I say, I guess it's really quick. They go, no, there's so many people who don't know how to use their phone or don't know how to pay for this. It bogs it down. We'll see. First home game, there weren't a lot of people there, maybe 15,000. So little bit I watched of it seemed to go well. They have new scanners too that let people come in the stadium much quicker. So that's going to be a positive, I hope. So, okay. 9:04, I'm done. I'm going to go watch the 1%, see if I can win some money. Last week, I got down to 15% questions. If those of you who watch the show understand it. I basically got down to the final 3 questions and lost. So, oh well. Anyway, thank you, everybody. I'm sorry about the beginning of this. Who knows what that's about? I'll have to test to see. It can't be my computer, I hope. And Seasons of Discontent will be up tomorrow night. That's my podcast with Matt. And, of course, the videos run, 6 a.m., dinner time, a couple a day. Enjoy the videos while I'm doing them. I sound ominous, and there's a reason for that. And I appreciate it. If anybody wants to donate money at the end here, for kids, we donated $20. Wow, that's just sad. Usually when we do this, last time we did this, we raised over $200. I don't know what tonight is. I guess everybody's bitter. So, anyway. Oh, hey, Steve is here. Woo, okay. He was the best man at my wedding a bazillion years ago. I'm glad to see you're here. Good. You have to text me or whatever. Let me hear how you're doing. And Takumi, thank you so much for doing it. And Bo and everybody else. So, anyway, I'm Rick Snider. Where in the world is my bell? See, that's how bad tonight is. Wow, this is bad. There you go. I'm Rick Snider. Thanks for coming. I'll see you soon. Now, how do I even end this?